Hi everyone, this is Lori Jill Eisenstadt, and I wanted to show you the All About Breastfeeding community site. Most of the people in the group are pretty active, and some know about the files section and some don't. So I'm going to turn my screen around so I can show you some of the files that are available in the group. So there's the top picture, okay? And if you go right here, you see my arrow right there to files. If you click that on, that will then open up to a page where I have uploaded quite a few files for you, which are informational sheets and checklists that I have already put in there for you. So I get a lot of requests, like I just recently got a request, and you know who you are, for weaning, and I sent her the page in a separate email. But I wanted to point out to you, so if you were looking for information on drying up your milk, all you would do is go to files, and then you would click this on right here, and it will open up to a PDF that you have to open up. You see me there on this screen. And so right here is a whole checklist that I've done for drying up your milk supply, which a lot of people say is pretty interesting because they're like, you're a lactation consultant and you're teaching moms how to dry up your milk. Well, yes, as lactation consultants, we want to do whatever we can to help you. And there are some moms who want to dry up their milk for various reasons, and there are some moms who need to for a medical reason, and we want to help her do that safely. So there are some very specific ways on how to go about that, and you can see this handout is a couple of pages. I give some great additional links for other places that you can go to learn more information about medication and mother's milk. You'll see that one on top. Infantrisk.com is one of my favorite go-to places where you can call them up. They have the most updated information about medications that you can take safely when you're pregnant and breastfeeding, and they will also let you know if something is not safe, and they may even give you an alternative one that you can go back to your physician and check out. Right here where you see that mouse on number 2, LactMed app, that's an app that you can download for free, and you can look up the medication that you're taking or that your doctor is suggesting that you take, and you can see what the safety of that is and also alternatives. Then here I have a plan for removing the milk either by pump or baby or both. So that's a plan to wean, to gradually wean. And then I also have a plan where if you need to abruptly wean. So trying to just give as much information as we possibly can to you about drying up your milk if that's what you need to do. Here is another one, common postpartum depression symptoms. So there's lots of moms who suffer from postpartum depression. Some don't really know or understand it. Others, you have a 1 week or a 2 week wait to get into your physician or care provider to go over it. So I've given you some tips on how to help yourself. Sometimes you're just not even sure where it is that you stand and if it's something that you're suffering from. But again, just wanted to point this out. And I have several handouts on postpartum depression. So how you can help yourself, what the symptoms are, and various ways that you can help yourself. I also have a really fabulous handout. This is one I would have loved when I had my first baby, but the times have also changed and we have a lot more opportunities. This one's is titled Finding a Mother's Group. And so I think that for almost every single mom, you can truly benefit from being part of a mother's group. And some of them you can attend and they welcome you before you even had your baby. And others you join once you have your baby. So you see, in number 1, I have location is going to be very important. So one of the things that I learned is that it was great for me to find a group, but it wasn't great when it was 45 minutes away. If you can find one within 15 to 20 minutes of where you live, that's great, because it will be easier for you to connect with other women that you make friends with and be able to see them in between groups. I do have to say, if the only group from you is an hour away, As a new mother, I felt that it was totally worth my time and effort to drive that hour just to make connections with other new moms. Places that you can look to find new mothers groups, maybe at your local library. I find that if you go into your children's section, some of them have bulletin boards, some of them have local parenting publications and local town newspapers, and they're good places. You can even ask the librarian. You can even go to the book groups that they have for little kids. Even if your baby is in arms and can't read yet, you can still go there and meet other moms who are bringing their kids. And you know what? Most moms love meeting other moms, and your babies don't have to be the same age. You can go to your local hospital, birthing center, even a cafe shop. They have bulletin boards, and they may look and have advertisements for it. But basically, you want to look for a group with whatever it is that you are struggling with, if you do have any struggles. So if it's brand new motherhood, you're going to want to look for groups that have moms who are fairly new to motherhood. And some of them, again, even if you can't find one that's just meeting your needs, I would still go to it anyway. You'll probably be more than welcome. But there are a lot of other special needs programs, like if you're a mother of multiples, so Meetup and Facebook groups. You can just Google Mothers of Multiples in Massapequa, New York, and you'll probably find one that's the closest. It's funny how that comes up. I grew up in Massapequa, but I now live in Phoenix, but that's what came out of my mouth. So I think if you look into Facebook groups, you may also find what you need. And then there are other places that you can go to. I was very involved with a mother center when my kids were younger. It is now called Momentum. So you see that right there, mom-mentum.org. You can just go to that site and look and see what kind of mothers groups they have for you there. All those are opportunities for mothers groups. And I also, if you cannot get one locally or in addition to, my next mothers group is starting online. It's a virtual group. It's starting, I forget the date, but I think it's February 21st. But if you go to allaboutbreastfeeding.biz, you will able to scroll through and see the services that I offer. And one of them is an online virtual group. That might be an option for you if you're looking for something in addition to, or if you are in an area where you just do not have a group for you. I think online is something that I totally would have done. I was just desperate to meet other moms and talk and share and find out that thoughts that I had, that I wasn't crazy in some of my new motherhood thoughts. So I think groups are really excellent for moms to keep you from being in your own head, from being isolated, and getting out and talking about your stuff. It's what keeps most of us sane. I know it helped keep me sane. So I'm a huge supporter of mothers groups. There's a whole lot of handouts. You'll see them there. The last one I just wanted to go over with you now, it's called Normalizing Breastfeeding. And I wrote this. So normalizing breastfeeding, what's the point? So I'm going to hit on a few of them. So what I find is that still to this day, women are experiencing what I call NIP. I've shortened it, nursing in public situations, when they're seen feeding their babies in public places and they're being shamed and they're being told by people that they cannot breastfeed in public. This is, of course, absolutely ridiculous, but unfortunately it does happen. I want women to know that if they're kicked out of any places, that they are being lied to, because you can breastfeed any place that you are legally able to be. You are legally able to breastfeed your baby. I think it totally sucks that I even have to say that you can legally feed your baby in a certain spot, but it's so prevalent, and I think that women just need to know their rights so you can speak up for themselves. You know, and the point about it is, again, it pains me to even have to point it out, but I think that I have no idea how we even came to this point, but I think that it's important that we work together to stop the public shaming and the harassment and the discrimination against mothers and babies who are breastfeeding. I find that lots of times, actually, I say this all the time, that there are less people being mean and rude about it per se, and I think more it has to do with just being uneducated about it, just not understanding why women are breastfeeding in public. I mean, I've heard so many people say, why can't she just give her baby a bottle? Why can't she just feed her baby at home? Why can't? Well, because her baby's hungry. And rather than have her baby sit and cry, which will actually create a lot more attention, it is so much easier for her to just pop her baby on and just breastfeed her baby. And why can't someone just give a baby a bottle when they're in public? Well, that's where it becomes a place where I think people just not educated about breastfeeding because they don't know that not all women give babies bottles. And there are babies that just absolutely will refuse a bottle. They've never had a bottle. And now the mom gets caught short out in public, out longer than she meant to, and her baby's hungry. So she's just going to feed her baby. She doesn't have a bottle of milk available. The other thing is sometimes, I know it sounds strange, but this is where the education comes in that if you understand the way breastfeeding and milk works, that especially in the early days, some moms' breasts are so filled and they get so sore actually and quite engorged and actually quite painful, and some can't wait until a half hour, an hour and a half until they can get home to feed their baby. But mostly, we don't even have to really agree with it, but basically her baby's hungry and thirsty and she just needs to feed her baby. So the other thing is what I want to talk about is I want to encourage women to breastfeed their baby. I know lots of moms are shy about it, but I'd love for you to practice at home in front of a mirror breastfeeding your baby. The more you do it in your home, the more likely you are to do it when you're on the outside. And I think the biggest problem we have is lots of people just don't even see people breastfeeding their baby in public, which just makes the whole situation much worse. So I have this in my handout, number 8. You see, it says, just think about it. When's the last time you saw a mother breastfeeding her baby in a public place? I went to an outside food fair this Saturday here in Scottsdale, Phoenix. There were probably 5,000 people there. And it's not that I spend my time looking for it per se, but there are some times when I just actually tell myself, Lori, just look and see if you see any babies. How many babies do you see? How many moms are breastfeeding their baby? And I saw quite a lot of moms with their babies in the wraps, which I'm really thrilled to see. I saw quite a lot of moms bottle feeding their babies. And throughout the whole day, and I was there about 5 hours, not once did I see anybody breastfeeding their baby. And I looked for moms who were sitting in corners and etc. And so I'm sure some of these babies were hungry during that time period, and maybe I missed them. But the fact is that I really didn't see anybody. And I think that we need to see it. I don't know about you, but I could spend a whole afternoon at any major shopping mall or outside venue, and it's rare. Maybe 1, 2 I might see in a whole day. Why aren't we seeing these mommies breastfeeding their babies? Because I think, and I know because they're telling me, they're hiding somewhere feeding their baby. They're going back to the car. They are going to the ladies' room, which I don't think is necessarily that awful if that's where you feel most comfortable. It's just that I hate the fact that you feel like you have to. Or they just find themselves in a corner somewhere where nobody else is. They don't want to bring attention to themselves. So I think that, I'd love for moms to just learn how to breastfeed at home really comfortably, get the right clothing, the right nursing bras, the right nursing shirts, and actually, for most of us, you barely see anything. And honestly, if someone sees something, it's because they're staring. I mean, just think about it. A mom just lifts up her shirt or lowers the flap, pops her baby on, and when the baby is on breastfeeding, come on, people, you don't see anything more typically than you might see with a mother. She's just wearing a tank top. So we need to get over it. So that is part of the another handout that I have under file. And I have other ones, one on light pace. I'll let you read about that. A checklist for helping yourself go back to work. I have a really great one on colostrum. What is colostrum? And I just love that handout. So I encourage you to you need to Google the 4 words, All About Breastfeeding Community, join the group, get on, enjoy the discussions. There are also lists every time I release another podcast. I put a link to that, to the All About Breastfeeding podcast. And I also add some handouts in this file section way at the top right there. You see that? So I add it there, and you can check that out. Lots of good free info. And I believe that is it for now. So I will be back here in a few more days giving out some more information, and thrilled to have everybody here. I'm so not good at saying, I know when I watch Facebook Lives, I see people saying hi, calling out people's names, and I'm not good at that kind of multitasking. But now that I'm almost done and I don't need to drive my computer, I do see Belinda, so I will say hi to Belinda. And JPH, I love you. So I see that you're on there. So hi to you, and to anybody else who watches this in the replay. Just send me an email, aabreastfeeding@hotmail.com, if you have any questions about this. Bye for now.